After watching episode 2 and 3 of Resident Alien, I can officially say it's a banger, dude. Since Syfy was nice enough to drop 2 episodes this week, this breakdown will be on both. If you haven't seen episode 3 yet, it's streaming for free on syfy.com right now, so go over there, watch it, come back and finish my breakdown. This episode we find out a lot of information, but not a lot happens. The beginning starts with a random hiker stumbling upon what seems to be part of Harry's spaceship. He gets caught in some kind of anti-gravity device, and we'll see more of this later on. We then jump over to where episode 1 left off. Harry was face to face with the one boy in the entire town that can see through his disguise. Somehow, Max is able to break out of the window and escape the clutches of the alien. We find out more about Max and his parents' relationship this episode. From the outside looking in, the mayor and his family seem to have the perfect family. It's not until looking closer that we can see the mayor has a lot of his own problems.
I can't talk to you right now. I am busy with the mayor doing psychological therapy.
Isn't this supposed to be private?
He's telling me he's a man, baby.
After fleeing Harry's latest attempt on his life, the mayor is forced to bring Max with him to his office. It's here that Max is able to tell the sheriff and his deputy all about his belief that Harry is an alien in disguise. The sheriff blows it off as little kid jibber jabber, but the big-hearted deputy uses her previous experience as a police sketch artist to draw a sketch of the alien for young Max. Max uses these sketches to make wanted posters that he places all around the town. I thought this scene was really cute. I really was getting the vibe that the deputy actually believes in aliens, or she knows more than she's letting on. She had the idea that Harry is using some kind of camouflage, and Max is able to see through it because he's special. She's not so far off from the actual reality of that. We also see some foreshadowing later on in the episode that she's going to play a bigger part in Harry's life. As we know, Max isn't Harry's only problem. He also has to deal with being the town doctor. Tudyk's performance is just brilliant. He legit had me in tears laughing with just his mannerisms. The little things that he does just makes the performance work. We find out that he was a scientist on his planet, so doing these mostly routine checkups aren't a big deal for him, as long as he can use Google. One of the biggest bombs that got dropped on us during this episode was we found out the alien was on Earth for a time period before becoming Harry. This is massive. They can do so much with this. He has an entire storyline that they haven't even touched yet when he was in space. Now, they have a time period when he is on Earth as an alien. They can do whatever they want with this. They can add allies we haven't met yet, enemies yet to show their faces, or we can have even more twists. I'm very excited to see this part of his life and see what they're going to do with it. We also learn more about Asta and her past with Sam. She was so close with the Dr. Sam because he was the only one she could talk to about being adopted. Darcy is in this episode a lot as well. She is slowly becoming my favorite character. She is just awesome. So hilarious. She actually reminds me of just about every toxic girlfriend I've ever had. A whole lot of fun, but even more trouble. Harry kind of walks out on her during their date. After giving him the idea that he should make the murder look like an accident, he agrees to go bowling with her. This engagement between the two kind of felt forced. One of the ways Harry learned about being human was watching Law & Order. And let's be honest, I don't think I've watched a Law & Order episode where the guy didn't try to cover up his tracks and make it look like an accident or some sort. At the end of this episode, we get our last bombshell. That hiker from earlier was hanging around there for longer than we thought. He probably fell around the time that Harry first crashed and slowly died from dehydration and starvation. We see 2 people pull up to that scene and take pictures. These people looked like they knew what they were looking for. It's not like they stumbled upon this scene. It looked like they were on a mission. I'm very curious about these 2. We see more of them in episode 4, but we don't find out much more about them, other than one of them's a badass assassin of sorts. Episode 3 might be my favorite yet. It ties up a lot of the loose ends from the first 2 episodes, but it also gives us some more storylines to follow as well. They waste no time letting you know what this episode is going to be about. The first scene is a fisherman pulling up a man's foot onto his boat, while Harry is monologuing about how he didn't mean to kill Harry. He just didn't know that he would fall through the ice if he threw him. He is an alien after all. As the show opens up a new storyline with the newfound foot, it helps close another when Max's mother visits Harry. They first showed us this scene in the trailer and it's so funny. Max's mother asks Harry for advice because she doesn't believe Max's alien stories and thinks he's lying. So this frees up Harry to be more involved with Max's future, which leads to probably my favorite scene of the entire series. With this new confidence, Harry confronts Max. They chose to keep Alan as the alien during this scene, and it leads to some hilarious banter between him and the little child.
Morning, dickhead.
You can't call me that. That's a nasty word.
Oh, I'm sorry. Shit for brains.
They're just so funny together, and I'm looking forward to seeing the dynamic between the two in future episodes. We also find out a side story with a missing prescription pad that I imagine will play a bigger part later on. The sheriff calls a town meeting and suspects a serial killer is afoot. I couldn't resist. They make plans to comb through the lake on Harry's property since the foot was found there. Alan Tudyk again is fantastic. He compares feet with a deceased limb. He convinces a couple to let him circumcise their baby so he can pass the foreskin off as foot DNA. It's just a weird and hilarious set of events. We get to learn a bit more about Darcy and Asta. Asta's story is getting more and more heartbreaking every episode. We find out that she gave up a child who I think is the girl that interns at the clinic there. She's a little girl there, and that's what she finds out. She's like, oh, it's a girl, and has a little crying moment with her dada. She was just too young and felt like the other family could provide a happier home. We get a look at Max's school life, and he actually makes a friend during this episode by showing some kindness to someone who could use it. She then returns that favor and shows the kindness back to Max. I'm really looking forward to this dynamic here. The two of them versus the alien is gonna be hilarious. I'm expecting some Home Alone type of shenanigans. They also teased us a bit more with the alien's life pre-Harry. During his journey, he encountered a cowboy who became some conspiracy theorist. The two people from the previous episode are again showing up towards the end of the episode. It looks like they're getting any type of information that they can on the alien's appearance. My guess is that they're aliens themselves and they're trying to cover it up. But they could also be some sort of CIA Secret Service. I'm sure they'll play a bigger role in future episodes. But that was episode 2 and 3 broken down McBurger style. Thank you so much for watching. I'm really enjoying this show. Hopefully you guys are really liking these breakdowns. If you are, let me know down in the comments and I'll be sure to do some more. Thank you guys so much for watching. Laters on the Menjay.